Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video to remind everybody of a few things and a few changes we've seen when it comes to, I guess, everything going on right now with the pandemic that may or may not cause a delay in escrow. And so, I mean, with these kind of changes, we just need to make sure that all these different, I guess, changes we're seeing, we're on top of it and we're preparing ahead of time so we don't come across any problems at the very last minute when we're trying to fund a loan or trying to close an escrow in your situation. And so three things I'm recommending to keep an eye on. Number one, the verbal verification of employment. Because typically before, what would happen is we need a 10-day window from the day we're planning to close where the underwriter or the funder needs to make sure to verify the employment. But now they're requiring another verbal verification because of, unemployment being on the rise and a lot of, job security being in jeopardy. And so 24 hours before we're trying to fund, they need to be able to reach somebody and verify that they still work there. And the difficulty with that is right now, because of the shelter in place and the safe at home initiative, no one's in the office, but then the number needs to make sure it's actually a number that, is tied to the company. It can't just be a personal cell phone number. And so two ways you can make sure to prep for it is number one, let the client know that this is going to be something that's happening. And so they can give you a good phone number where you can reach somebody, and also they can give them a heads up that someone might be calling them. Or number two, they will be okay with an email address to their boss or employer. And so if they have like a manager they work directly under, you can give the funder the email address of that manager. And secondly, the appraisal has been causing a lot of different problems because, people don't want to go into different homes anymore. People don't want other people to be coming into the homes either. It's completely understandable, but fortunately, Fannie and Freddie actually updated their kind of leniency guidelines with the appraisal. And so what that means is one, they're granting more waivers now, which means if maybe a week ago you ran DEU and it told you that you need to have an appraisal, try running it again now and you may be able to get a waiver. And a waiver means you don't have to order an appraisal at all. Or they also updated and included a new form where they only have to evaluate the external part of the property. Or also they have another way they can verify and kind of give you the value of the property by looking at pictures and also getting kind of a map and general overview of the square footage, etc. And so they are actually updating those kind of guidelines. So if you're experiencing any difficulties with getting an appraiser out there, make sure that you reach out to the lender to see if they've implemented these changes and updates that Fannie and Freddie have announced. And then lastly, I just want to remind everybody of the 4506T. And for those of you who don't know, we always order something called tax transcripts through a 4506T form, and we go directly to the IRS to obtain that document. And so the IRS actually announced they're not taking any more new orders right now due to everything going on right now. And the reason why that's important is because, and keep in mind, it only impacts a certain amount of clients. Typically, self-employed clients are going to be the most impacted. And the reason why is because if they were only using 1 year of tax returns, then what they would usually require is at least a tax transcript and a 4506T to get back from the IRS in order to use only that 1 year. But if we're not able to obtain that by closing, then there's a chance that you have to reevaluate the whole income and average it out over a 2 year period, which could change the qualifying completely. So to avoid this, what we found out is the client can actually still access that document on their own. And so it's a little bit tedious, but I think given the climate of everything going on, the client would be very understanding. But yeah, there's a step-by-step direction that we usually send to our clients, or I mean, in the past weeks since it's been implemented, we've been doing and sending to our clients, and they can actually get the tax transcripts back in the same day. And so it's actually a pretty good way to do it, but a lot of people don't know about that option. And so to make sure that everyone's not scrambling at the end to make sure they can get that in, I recommend just being aware of it. So if that does become an issue, you already know, oh, hey, I know exactly what to do to get that document in. The client would have to order it from the IRS themselves online. But anyway, I hope these helped. Yeah, hopefully we can kind of get through this time and stay on top of all the changes. But I think for now, I'm optimistic because with a lot of these different changes, as long as we're preparing ahead of time, it shouldn't cause any delays in closing. But if you have any questions or if I can help in any way, run a scenario by me or anything like that, yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.